So today we're going to be doing Introduction to Geometry, Lesson 1, which is going to be area and volume. So area is the measure of space inside a two-dimensional figure, and volume is the measure of space inside of a three-dimensional figure. Okay? New topic, so there's no reason not to. Is everybody good with the first part there?
2 and 3, yes.
2 and 3. So these are the formulas we're going to be looking at today. We have area of a rectangle, which is length times width. We have volume of a rectangular prism, which is length times width times height. And we have area of a triangle. So area of a triangle is 1/2 base times the height. So as you can see, height can be represented based on the type of triangle, the side, the middle here, or on the outside of the triangle. So just be aware that it can be several different ways based on the triangle you have. A square is a rectangle with equal sides. A cube is a rectangular prism with equal sides. Area calculations require units, what we call squared to the second power. And volume calculations require units to be cubed. Instead of squared, they're cubed. Okay? So those are some important notes about doing these calculations. Is everybody good with the notes so far? Alright, so now we're going to practice some calculations together. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to find the area. Now, what kind of shape is this?
Square, a rectangle.
Not a square, but a rectangle. Then why is it a rectangle, not a square?
Because one side is longer than the other.
Good. So the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. So it doesn't matter which one is length, which one is width. We can call this length and this width, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. Good. So the area is going to be 7 inches times 11 inches.
77.
Good. So it's going to be 77, very important, inches squared. Its area has to have inches to the second power.
Is that what we just learned today?
Mm-hmm. That and then a few other calculations, but yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah, kind of easy.
So is everybody good with area of a rectangle? Alright, let's try the next one, which is going to be volume of, what kind of shape is this? It's called a rectangular what? Prism. So this is a rectangular prism. And the formula for that is volume is equal to length times width times height. Now it doesn't matter which of these is which. We'll call this one width, length, and height. And what are we going to do with these values? Good, multiply them together. So length times width times height. That's going to be volume is equal to 240 centimeters. Now what is the units on this? It's going to be centimeters to the, not squared, but to the
Cube.
third. So volume is to the third, cubed. Okay. Area is squared, volume is cubed. Everybody good with that? The difference? Okay. So does anybody have any questions on number 2? Alright, let's move on. Find the area of a square with a side length of 4 millimeters. So if we have a square, what's the property of squares? All the sides are the?
Same.
Good. So if we know that the length is 4 millimeters, what's the width?
4.
Also 4 millimeters. Good. So area is going to be 4 mm times 4 mm, which is going to be 16 millimeters. And its area, so what's going to be the units on that? Squared to the second power, right? Is everyone good with that so far? So does anybody have any questions about area of the square? Are we good to move on to number 4? Alright, so it says, find the area of a triangle with a base length of 5 meters and a height of 6 meters.
30.
Good. Not quite, almost. So
27.
So the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So that's going to be area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height, which is going to be 15 meters to the second. Area is always to the second, volume is always to the third, okay? Area is to the second, volume is to the third. So you're just plugging in. Yeah. Is everybody good with number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I think she does. I don't think she's had any changes. So this one says volume of a cube with a side length of 3.5 millimeters. So if we have a cube, draw a sketch of a cube. One of them is 3.5. So what do we know about volume of a cube or a cube in general? What are all the sides?
Different.
Not different, but the same. So they're all 3.5. So length, width, and height are all 3.5, right? So 3.5 millimeters times 3.5 millimeters times 3.5 millimeters. Volume is equal to. So you basically just multiply it 3 times. So whenever you have cube or square, those two have all the same units. Good. And it's millimeters to what power?
Third.
Good. Volume is to the third. So is everybody good with number 5? No questions so far? Find the area of the triangle.
Can you go back a little bit?
So the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we have to determine what the base and the height is. So what's the base of this triangle? Good. And the height is?
Isn't that 19 or 18?
It's 10 and this is 14. Was it hard to read? Sorry.
Yeah, something like a 19 something.
No, it's a 14. Sorry about that. So area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height, which means area is equal to 70 meters to what power? Second, because it's area, right? So in the calculator, 1/2 is the same as 0.5, okay? You can use 0.5 in the calculator. So is everybody good with number 6? Alright, you ready to move on then?
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to do some word problems. So when solving word problems involving area and volume, start by identifying what shape we are referencing and then the individual variables. Alright, so a garden is 6 feet long and 7 feet wide. Find the area of the garden. So what shape is this garden? Good, it's a rectangle, right? So one of these dimensions is 6 and one of them is 7. It doesn't matter which way it is, it didn't specify. So this is your garden. Okay, you have a little flower here or something. Okay, your garden. And those are the dimensions of the garden. So what formula am I going to use for the garden? Find the area of it.
It's 42.
Good, so it's length times width. So area is equal to 6 feet times 7 feet. You're right, it's 42 feet to the second power, feet squared. So any questions about the garden? Alright, let's try number 8. A classroom has 4 walls of the same length. Julia measures one of the walls to be 17 feet. Can we find the area?
17 times 17 times 17 times 17.
Not quite. So we can find the area, right? So this is a classroom, and it has 4 walls of the same length, right? So they're all the same.
So 17 times 4.
So this one's 17, and this one's also 17. So how would we find area of a square? It's technically a square, isn't it, the shape?
Yeah.
So area of a square is a special type of rectangle, right? So area is equal to what times what?
17 times 17.
Good. 17 feet times 17 feet, the length times the width. So area is equal to 289 feet squared. So is everyone good with that calculation, with the square? Figuring out why it's a square? Because all 4 sides are the same length. And they asked about area. Alright, are you ready for number 9? Yes?
Oh,
Okay. So Andy then measures the height of the classroom from question number 8. The height is 8 feet. We can now find the, so if we now know length, width,
64.
not quite. So if we know the length, the width, and the height, we can now find what measure?
The area
We already knew the area.
or the base.
We can now find, which formula has length, width, and height? Sorry, go ahead. You said
the volume.
Volume is correct. So now we have all the information needed to find volume, right? We know length is 17 feet. We know width is also 17 feet. And we know height is 8 feet. So I got these two from number 8, the question number 8, right? And this one, they gave me some additional information about the height. So now I'm able to find volume. So does everybody understand where that all came from?
Yeah.
So volume is equal to 17 times 17 times 8.
So 289 times 8.
Correct. That's 2,312 feet to what power? Good, it's volume, so it's to the third. So this is the volume of the classroom, basically. Volume versus area. Is everyone good with this one so far? Felicia has a note card that has an area of 25 centimeters. She knows the side lengths are the same. What must the length and width be? So she has a note card where all the side lengths are the same. And the area is 25 centimeters. So, what 2 numbers can we multiply together that are the same? Good, so it would have to be 5, right? Because the area of a square is equal to length times width. So if the area is 25 and the length and width are the same, that's 25 equals x squared. Take the square root of both sides, x equals 5 centimeters. So the length and width would both be 5 centimeters. So does everyone understand how we had to work backwards on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.